I just bought this 2009 Ford Flex for only $600. And usually when something is that cheap, there's something very, very wrong with it. So today, what we're gonna do is dive into this car and see if it was worth saving or if we should have just let it go to the scrapyard. Welcome back to today's Sheeittbox Spotlight, where I continually buy questionable vehicles that probably are not worth saving. But either way, let's get into my growing collection of garbage vehicles with this cheap SUV find. Wait, is this thing even an SUV? What the heck did I even buy? So here she is, the 2009 Ford Flex. Now, before everybody gets all their panties up in a bunch because, oh, you only paid $600 for it, it has some issues. I don't know all of them, but we do know that the power steering rack has been replaced, but it is now leaking again, and the thing doesn't steer. But I was able to drive it home. Now, I think this thing is considered an SUV. You can see it's just like a long limousine type thing here because it does have third row seat in the back, but I think it was like a crossover. This thing almost had like its own category. I don't really know what it was trying to be or what Ford was thinking about. All I know that this one is, in fact, loaded for whatever the heck it was supposed to be. And out of curiosity, I always have to look at some of this stuff. But back in 2009, the all-wheel drive model, which this one is, actually MSRP'd over $36,000 with some of the limited models, approaching that 43 grand for this thing. And now 200,000 miles later, and some wear and tear and some age, you have a $600 car. Crazy to think. Not a Ford Flex guru, but this one is the limited, so it got that like typical Ford fashion where they put the big badging and all the big platinum plaque, if you would call it that, on the back. Assuming that it gives you bigger wheels when you have the limited edition anything in the Ford models. And then the headlights were equipped with the high intensity discharge light bulbs in the front. Now, I don't know if these were like auto leveling or not at that stage of the game in 2009, but these were great lights back in the day. I remember these things just being awesome, but expensive to replace. Now, this thing is going on like 17, 18 years-ish of age, so we got some bumps and bruises on her. We got a cracked bumper. This headlight's got some fade compared to this one. This is like tin foil or whatever the heck Ford used on this, but that fake chrome is peeling off the grill. All the rims have that oxidation stuff going on it. Typical chrome fashion there. Kind of hard to see it, but there's some dings in the door. And then I noticed that this rear door, for some reason, the pinstriping is gone. So I wonder if this was replaced for something. Got some rust starting down here. Rust in the corner here. Rust in the corner here. And then here's the other door with the pinstriping. So that all makes sense. Now, the guy that I bought this from was actually a super cool dude. He met me halfway on the price. I just couldn't really justify buying the thing, and then with the rack and pinion repair and all the other stuff that it could potentially have, would have been an issue. So he met me halfway. Dude, it was super cool to deal with. And I think he just cared for this thing a lot because he had a ton of maintenance records that he had on his own in a spreadsheet, really professionally done. So this car definitely had care for it. I think he was just kind of fed up of sticking money into it because cars, they cost money and it sucks. So let's take a peek on the inside and see what this interior is all about and try to figure out what actual category this car is supposed to fall in, if it's a crossover or a full-size SUV or whatever the heck this thing is supposed to be. So first up, we got leather seats all the way back, and there's third row. And I just realized looking up, I didn't know this before, but this is a DVD player. But we got power seats up and down. Looks like we got lumbar support right here. Powered windows. We had foot controls with memory. Power locks, power mirrors. I'll show you these HID lights here. Gosh, these lights were just perfect back then. You could see everything on the road. Anyways, HID lights. Now, I'm not sure if all the Flexes have it, but this has got all that fancy fake wood grain stuff on here. And maybe this is only a limited model, but you can get it on the steering wheel. You got this nice Flex logo right there. That's pretty sweet. And then powered by the ever-failing Microsoft Sync, the thing that would always screw up in these Ford vehicles. It's one of the worst things they could put in here. But we had Sony speakers. Now, the thing I'm always amazed by is how these car companies partner with certain audio companies. Like that Jedi I bought has like Fender speakers. This thing is all partnered with Microsoft and Sony. That weird Kia thing that I bought is partnered with Infinity, I believe. So it seems like every company just partners with some random audio company, which is fine because all the audio systems work great in these new cars. You don't need to have all those aftermarket things like back in the old days. But moving on down the line, we had a CD player. You had all the HVAC controls. Passengers could do the different thing. You had rear climate for the rear. That's pretty cool. Your steering wheel, you had your call buttons and all your audio controls. You had your cruise up on the left side. Here's your little wiper switch. What is this button right here? Oh, is that the hatch? Oh, and it shuts. Let's see how many miles we got on this girl. 214,950. It's got that super annoying Ford chime in it. It fires up good. And nothing on the dash for lights. Pretty crazy. I just realized that you got some fancy LEDs in the cup holders. It's kind of fancy cool. Nothing in the center console except some more lights. You got a cigarette lighter here. What's this button do? Oh, you could change the lights in here. Whoa. Well, that's pretty cool. Oh, you got lights down here that change. Dude, this thing's almost as cool as the Kia Soul with the lighting. That's pretty sweet. All right, let's take a peek in the back here. You had rear climate control here, a plug-in. I'm not seeing any heated features back here. Now, I think this is how you get access to the rear. This folds down and up, maybe? Oh, yeah, like this. Oh, there's a little bit of trash right there. But yeah, then you could get back to these rear seats like so. And have a ton of space back here too. You got yourself a storage pouch back here. You got like limo seating. Check out this DVD player. How does this thing come down? There's a DVD in it. What's this? Rudy. What the hell is that? Okay, it says press. Try that. Okay. Oh, would you look at that? I wonder if this thing even works. We better try it. All right, there's a power button. Wow, look at that. Well, that's pretty pimpin'. I like that. Now I have zero doubt in my mind that this door was replaced because what is going on with this door panel? You got a different trim grade here. This is like a walnut, fake walnut. And then we have some like, I don't know, dyed marble cherry. I don't know what the heck it's supposed to be. But yeah, different door panels. So, and this one doesn't have pinstriping, so I guarantee that's what exactly happened there. Now another thing I'm noticing is look at all the rust that built up on the bottom of this thing. It is nasty. So when we lift it in the air, I bet this is gonna be pretty gross under here. But look at this. It's no wonder it rusts so bad there because these doors are like a perfect catch for debris and trash and salt and look at that. Why did you make a door like that? That seems awful. This is the front door. Same thing, this whole thing probably is just caked. It's pretty rusty under there. Well, there you have it. Nothing too glamorous about the inside. That's like most cars, I would say. So let's go to the cream of the crop. We'll see what the engine bay looks like. I'm gonna back it up to the back of the hoist here, and then we'll get it up in the air too. But let's see what the meat and the potatoes of this whole powertrain actually looks like. And we'll see if it's completely shot underneath and if I got a big kick in the pants for buying this one. Let's see what it's all about. Oh yeah, and to give you guys an idea how bad this thing is leaking power steering fluid, I just backed it up 2 feet and look at the puddle left. Yeah, so much for cleaning these dang floors. Ah! Let's take a look under the mother effing hood. Now, it looks like this thing could really, really use a bath. I think it was sitting for quite some time because of the power steering leak, so just kind of was sitting in the guy's driveway taking up space. And it's just been a snowy, blowy season here. This battery, another freaking interstate. Ah, I don't like these things. But yeah, it could use a nice dusting on the inside here. Take a peek at this filter. This is a K&N. Look at that. I'm not sure these things were actually a good thing to put in your cars. I've heard more people having problems with these than anything good performance-wise coming out of it. But K&N filter. Now I was told that the fluid was just replaced and the transmission was replaced like 20,000 miles ago, according to the spreadsheet. And the coolant is full, which is a good sign because these are the ones with that notorious water pump failure driven by the timing chain. And I'm not sure if that one has ever been done on this car. Let me check that spreadsheet once again. Yeah, so according to his spreadsheet, it was just spark plugs, coils, belts, new fluids, brake bleeds, new calipers, A bunch of new parts. Alignment's done. New tires are Michelin's. Front and rear calipers. Transmission replaced at 171. We're at 210-ish, 212-ish or something like that. So no sign of a water pump, and that is a common failure, but maybe it was done prior to his ownership. I'm not quite sure how long the guy owned this thing. But overall, just other than a little dusty under the engine bay, it doesn't look terrible. No signs of any valve cover gaskets or anything like that leaking, and usually Fords are pretty good about not leaking a bunch of fluids out, unlike a GM. There you have it, a pretty straightforward 3.5 engine. It's just a common engine they put pretty much in all those Fords back then, and I think they still are using them, right? But either way, let's get this thing up in the air and take a peek at this rack and pinion situation and what the underside looks like, because that's what I'm the biggest curiosity about, if it's gonna be a rusty, rusty turd underneath. All right, we are up in the air, and I'm glad I put a stick underneath it, because when I got up here, it folded the pinch welds right over on both sides in the front. As you can see, it is a little rusty under here. Both sides are pretty gross. Look at this thing. The whole pinch weld frame, body, unibody, whatever you want to call it. It has seen better days. Needless to say, this isn't a $40,000 car anymore. But as we can see, we have our fluid dripping right from the bellows of this rack and pinion the guy had replaced once before on both sides. And this is a Cardone. So how about you don't replace your stuff with these parts? Cardone is not a known good part to replace your stuff with. I've never had any good luck with them. And look at that power steering pump. That thing's been replaced once before too. Look how nasty, rusty that thing is. Nobody paints stuff anymore? What the hell? And what's that hose all about? It's like the wrong size hose on it. What the heck is going on there? It appears we have some newer belts, possibly a small leak from the timing cover, or a front crank seal after I just got done saying Fords don't leak that much. And here it's starting to seep out the timing cover. Silly me. Now this is a reman transmission unit. And you can see it's got the tag on it and everything. So the transmission has been replaced, which is kind of a nice thing. You see even the discoloration from the engine to the transmission are vastly different. The exhaust system all looks like it's intact. It's got this weird like dual resonator thing here to keep the quietness down. This thing looks like it's supposed to be leaking pretty soon here. New ball joints. This bushing looks old, but new control arms. You got a busted axle right there. Look at this subframe. That thing's getting nice and rusty too. It's probably got a little bit of life left. Who knows? Drive shaft, all that stuff looks like it's intact. All the way back to the differential back here. These axles don't look terrible. And then the exhaust pipe just comes out the one right here. And this thing is dancing a little bit because, oh yeah, we got a busted mount right here. I will say these Michelin tires look practically new. That's kind of a nice feature. Brakes are a little bit rusted out from sitting on both sides, but yeah, tires are looking great. Now as I'm looking up, I just realized this thing does have those park aid sensors on the back of the bumper, and I didn't realize that these even had it back in 2009. Really everything looks like rusty and stuff, but overall I think it's worth keeping around for a little while longer instead of just tossing the turd into the trash can like we all do nowadays. The struts look like they've seen better days. These are probably OEM. Yeah, they're OEM. And then the rears actually have Gabriel shocks. That's like a Fleet Farm special right there, boys. I didn't even realize you could still get Gabriel shocks, to be honest, but apparently you can. Now I see this one got equipped with the fog lights too, and I was looking underneath here, and I was like, what the heck happened right here? And then I realized, I bet you he had the bulb fall out. It fell right here and melted a hole in the bumper. And that's exactly what happened here. Hands down, guaranteed. The light fell out and melted it. All right, well, what do you say? Let's get this thing down and let's take it for a quick spin because it runs and drives, which is pretty sweet. So let's take it for a rip. All right, but overall, this thing actually feels great. Like it shifts smooth, it drives smooth, it accelerates smooth. And for 215,000 miles, I think we've done pretty good for something that just needs a power steering rack and some little odds and ends, which I have stuff on the way for this one because we are going to save it. You hear a little power steering whine when I do the side-to-side mojangle there. But yeah, like overall, this thing is actually super comfortable too. These seats are like really nice. It's like a pillow back here. You can fall asleep in this thing. Yeah, not a bad vehicle. I think we're gonna do some cool stuff with it. I don't know what that cool thing is entirely yet, but when we get back to the shop, I'll show you some parts that a company had sent me that we're kind of working on a little companionship here, and hopefully it works out in everyone's favor. Now, I think the best way to really test these really old junky cars is to do a 0 to 60 and really pound on it, see how it goes through the gears. So let's see if it brakes on us here. 3, 2, 1, go. That's wide open, baby. Shifted good. Shifted good. And 60. I'm probably gonna roach the power steering pump if I keep driving it any longer. But there you have it. It shifts, it drives, it moves. Let's recap. Back to the shop. And we are back, and that is what a $600 2009 Ford Flex gets you with pretty high miles. So if you can look past the high mileage, this is actually not a bad looking vehicle. It's kind of a strange vehicle. I don't really know what category it falls into still. I want to say it's a crossover, but I think they categorize it as like a full-size SUV somehow. Let me know in the comments if you guys know. Now, stay tuned because I am going to be fixing this thing. I am going to save it. I'm not going to scrap this thing just yet, but I'm going to put a rack in it. Despite all the rust and all the nasty stuff, I'll probably fix up that exhaust a little bit so it's not bouncing around. And I reached out with a company, and I will show you a little surprise. We're going to be doing some performance stuff to it. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but it might look pretty sweet. I don't know. What do the kids call it these days? Stanced. So stay tuned for that. I have the rack on its way. Once that stuff's here, I'm going to shoot a video on it, and you might see this thing slammed. And I don't know if this is a great idea because I don't really have a strong back anymore that can take a beating. But maybe we could find out and test how bad lowered suspension can actually be on a vehicle like this. So thank you again for watching. Stay tuned. We got a lot more stuff coming, and I will see you in the next video. Adios.